Welcome everyone on this beautiful, again, Thursday. I'm very happy to be here. This is Toni Weel. We have with us Gary Parent, Katie, and Sara from Virtuous Unicorns. And I apologize for being late because we got into into talking about something, and then it's like the minutes are counting away.
No, yeah.
And I was like, let's talk about this life because it is interesting. Gary mentioned that. Well, Gary, I'll let you do the talking.
So what were we talking about?
Yeah, we were talking about that people didn't want to know about, or that
Right,
you shouldn't do is tell people how the lymph flows with the six opening up of the six
right.
lymphatic gates.
They think that I'm explaining too much and that I shouldn't do that. Well, I share what I learn, and when people come, and like the guy with the thumb that it'd been hurting him his whole life basically, and about quarter way through the class, it stopped hurting, and he could touch his thumb and his little finger together. It had been 45 years since he'd been able to do that. To me, if I don't explain what I am doing, then they're going to miss half the benefit of being there. I don't know. For me, this is just how I teach. And when I look at, and I'm not comparing myself with these people at all, but Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton. And I mean, they were kicked out of the system. Well, Bruce was anyway. And it's taken years, like 20, 25 years for Bruce to start getting the reception. And now the medicine is actually starting to follow his plan. Of course, the whole medical world right now is upside down, but uh, everybody's fighting for their life. And that's basically what we're doing. We need to know how the body flows and when it expands, what it's doing inside, internally. And that's intention. If your intention is to breathe, to do a chest breath through your mouth, well, you feel the whole body's not being activated. You breathe through your nose, a nice belly breath, and you can feel the whole body engaging in that. And you feel it expand and you feel it contract. Those are really important things to know. Like another friend of mine, Bruce, when I said he should do belly breaths, it took him almost maybe 3, 4 weeks just to get his belly to expand. Because what's happening is because we're mouth breathing, those muscles have fallen asleep and they're not activated anymore. And that's where 2/3 of your fluid is. So that when they are expanding and contracting your belly, you're massaging your organs and glands. Diaphragm's dropping, heart's relaxing, lungs are relaxing, and pressure here. Because the body is a pressurized system. And I'm going to do one on the diaphragm coming up here. Uh, because it's the real pump. It's pumping both ways, above and below at the and it's all based on breath and exhaling longer than we inhale. I think it's important for people to know and understand that when you exhale longer than you inhale, it pulls the blood back from your limbs because you're in fight or flight back into rest, digest, and heal so that your body can rest and it can heal and your breathing changes and everything changes when you do that. And it creates that flow. When you breathe the belly breath through the nose, it pushes on the primal brainstem, your plates in your head actually expand and contract, and it keeps them from sticking together because you don't want them sticking together. Just look up cranial sacral stuff with John. What was John's last name? Uh, I can't remember right now. But anyway, because that he's the one that discovered the cranial sacral. And it is mind blowing how little we know and how much we think we know about how the body flows. And that was only one person that said that, but it came back through to me. And I'm like, okay, so I got to check around. And because I don't feel like I should share Qigong if we're just out there moving around. You have to put intention in your movement, in your breath, in your movement, like inhale and exhale. You're opening and closing the rib cage. And that is extremely important to get more oxygen in your body. So I'll leave it right there, but I don't think I'm going to change what I do.
Is that John Campbell, Dr. John Campbell?
Nope.
Well, he has videos about it and talks a lot about cranial nerves.
There is a John Campbell that I watch that talks. He's in Australia, I think. Uh, no, I can't remember his name right now. If I find it,
Okay.
I'll post it underneath.
Right.
It's not if I find it, when I find it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it is. I feel that with if you don't know how things in your body work, then you don't care.
right,
If you don't want to know, then you just don't care. And if you don't care, nothing is going to happen.
right.
I mean, you have to want it. You have to want your health. And if you really want your health, you will take the steps necessary.
Yes.
And your teachings, all of our teachings are important for that. This is what we have been doing.
Mm,
We've been doing this now for 5 years.
yeah.
And I know we keep repeating, yet we every week we have something different that comes up. Although the
Yep.
topics may seem to be the same, there are always these little nuggets that are really important and will help us move forward. And I just got a big shock, and I'm transparent enough to share it, is that I finally had a a blood test done because I needed some dental surgery, and I found out my blood sugar was too high, and I'm like, okay, I ate too much fats. And it was like what Sarah said, even we talked about it last week, fats is fat.
Yeah.
And it can come from the pizzas and the cheeses, but it can also come from the nuts, the coconut, and
Mm-hmm.
the avocados. And this was the mistake that I made, or mistake, I didn't know about it, before I met Dr. Morse. And before he told me, if you want to heal, get those fats out of your diet. And that was back then the first thing that I did. And that is when I saw a difference. Not even eating raw vegan. Because even with raw feeding eating, I was not in a good shape. I was really, really bad and in a lot of pain, especially from arthritis, but also high blood sugar. So be aware of this. And that is, yeah, that's what you say, we tell people about what to do and how it works. And I think it's interesting, what you told me about what the deep breathing really does. I mean, since I was 17 years old, people started talking about meditation and belly breaths, and I never knew the why until you told me.
Well, thank
You
you.
know, so my whole life, you have to do it, but you don't know why. You don't know the benefits. It's like, oh yeah, well, yeah, the deep breathing, but not realizing it is about how you heal, yeah. uh, I can't even find the words explaining how really important it is.
Oh, it's everything. Can't be here without breath. Uh, and
Yeah,
his
but
last name is Upledger, John Upledger.
oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in here and say, you know, what I said before we got on here is that this is the path of the straight and narrow. And it's not for everybody. It is for everybody, but not
Yeah.
everybody is at the place where they're going to be able to do it at this time. But it doesn't mean that we're not doing, what I believe is groundbreaking work and blazing the trail for others. You know, I remember when I first read the Bible, I didn't understand it at all. It was completely, it was like reading a different language and it made no sense. But as I continued or I raised my frequency, I became in alignment, then I started to understand it. And everything has changed my life. And the breathing, learning the belly breathe, it took me a month to be able to do that properly.
Yeah.
And remember, I said, I don't know how many weeks ago this was, but I said, I still can't do it standing up. Like I
Oh, yeah.
finally can do it standing up now.
All
It is
right.
so weird at the fact that like I can't breathe. And then you start thinking like, why can't I breathe? And then you're trying to breathe and you can't breathe. Next thing you know, you can't breathe at all. And then it's such a mind game. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just learning to activate that again. It's like I've been activating my pineal gland and decalcifying, through this whole process too. Well, now I feel it tingle. Now I feel it doing things and I can feel stuff. And it's like my body waking up and saying, wait a minute, this thing still works? And it's like, yeah, we're waking it all back up.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is important for what we do. And those that think we're oversharing or that we sound like a broken record, please know that we sound like a broken record because there's only one truth. And
Right.
that's why we keep repeating that same truth over and over again. So everything every one of us shares, whether they are our experience, what we've researched, or what we've even seen, these are all like documents and scrolls that, we're putting out there to help others. And when the frequencies align, then those people show up and then they come and do it. And I know we've had, faithful followers this whole entire time. And it's like we're preaching to the choir basically, but more and more will come eventually. And even if they don't listen to it today, tomorrow, or even a month, they might listen to it in 10 years and it could be completely changing somebody's life. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
the same thing too, Tony, what you were talking about, your blood sugar being out. I'm going to use the comparison that always with doctors is like, you see like these world-class doctors and they're outside smoking. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean that they don't have beautiful minds, you know what I mean? And that they don't have great information to share, but they're still smoking a cigarette because they might still be dealing with something within themselves that they still have to deal with emotionally. And that's helping them. That's their crutch right now. But it doesn't mean they don't have a beautiful mind. So,
Exactly. And you mentioned something about we may not have, groundbreaking information, but I think the way that we have been combining it,
oh, I think we do have
that's
ground. I
amazing.
said I do think we have groundbreaking
Oh,
information.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
in my opinion, I think we do. Absolutely. I mean, I
Yeah,
couldn't breathe just a couple months ago, and now I'm breathing.
right, right.
Yeah.
And there was something about the pineal gland that I saw yesterday, and this gentleman was saying if you close your eyes and you cannot visualize a certain thing, say you want to visualize a cow in a pasture with all kinds of flowers, and you cannot see it when you close your eyes, then there is a blockage on your pineal glands.
Oh, all of our pineal glands are blocked. They're blocked from, our diets, our waters, our environments, and all that other stuff. And I've been putting castor oil on it with frankincense as well too. And I'll swear on anything, it tingles now. And I was in the shower the other night, last night. I could feel it. It was like I don't know, something's going on there. So I'm like, yep, it's coming online. And
There's
that's the way that we see God. That is our single eye. That's if your eye be
mhm.
single, because God's light, light, and that's where we let light comes in through photons and electrons and all that good stuff. The angles of light, the angels, they come into you. So you focus on that, and you do actually have to kind of like look up when you have your eyes closed, and that's how you focus on it. And you do it through meditation, food, water, environment, meditation, all that good stuff, everything that we're teaching.
Mhm.
There was, I came across something with my new course. I came across something from Tony Robbins, and oh my God, now I don't know what the link is, but they call it disc and motivator scoring. So I've done that. That is a report about how you are and what you do, what kind of personality you are. And it was so interesting. And I thought I am exactly the same person, in when I'm at home or with friends as I am work-wise or outside of the house. I'm not. Not a big difference, but it was absolutely very, very interesting. So for anyone, and it's free, for anyone, look for the Tony Robbins disc and motivators. Disc and DISC and motivators. It's an interesting insight over well, maybe even over how you think that you are. I really like to read what was written down. It was positive, so it was good for me. Anyway, our topic today, Katie, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask you if you had to add anything to the previous conversation. Sorry.
Oh, no, I would have jumped in. I think Sarah covered what I would have said very well. So, yeah.
All right. Well, the topic for today was like, okay, let's talk about protein, but because every time we talk with somebody, it doesn't even matter where I am. If we get to talk about diet and I explain a little, it's like, yeah, what about protein? How do we get our protein? I was at the dentist and he was really in holistic health and he was like, but how do we get our protein? I was like, okay, we need to talk about this. Now I have a writing from and I can read it, 2 pages. And Lauren, I am going to say the great Lauren Farris because she is great in writing and she puts it so well together. And then I saw a very good part by Dr. Morse, and I can play it later, but I only play a few minutes of it. It's he got very passionate about those darn proteins and what everybody thinks that we need. Okay, I'm going to read this if you don't mind. I don't know how long it will take, but it's not long. And it was the great protein myth what has destroyed the lives and health of many people. Overconsumption of protein is possible the single greatest cause of disease in humans, and yet everyday industry experts push sick, overweight, and tired humans to consume more and more of what is creating the sickness. Proteins break down into acids in the body. Acids burn and damage cells. Any excess protein leads to inflammation, edema, and eventually to tumors and organ failure. Nearly every disease label of the medical industry can find its roots in the overconsumption of protein food. The sad truth is the human body cannot even utilize complete proteins. There's no such thing as a protein deficiency. The body uses amino acids, which are the constituents of protein, to build its own proteins. Your human proteins are not cow proteins, chicken proteins, or fish proteins. They are unique to the need of the body structure. Animal tissues add an additional disease-causing acid burden to the body because the unusual complete proteins must be broken down into amino acids, causing more work to be done by the stomach and digestive tract. The more the cells work, the more acidic cellular waste they create. In addition, many of the amino acids found in animal proteins will be damaged or destroyed in the cooking process, so the body must work even harder to expel the excess waste, adding even more burden to the body. All of this burden and all the excess acid cellular waste and excess acidic protein waste is what leads to the symptoms of disease. How much protein do we really need? And how did we get so far off the mark as to create epidemics of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's, strokes, and the rampant mental illness, depression, and anxiety? Humans have the greatest need for amino acids in the time from birth to 18 months, when rapid growth requires human protein to create out of amino acids. Human breast milk only 1.1 grams of protein in 100 grams of milk. It contains 3 times that in sugar, 3.5 grams of carbohydrates. The growing infant, which doubles its weight in 180 days, requires only roughly 1 to 2% protein. Once fully grown, we recycle up to 2/3 of our protein waste to meet our needs. The full-grown adult requires far less than an infant, and yet with mainstream circles it's standard practice to recommend a high-protein diet. We have confused marketing with science to our great detriment, and we still, to this day, continue the trend. We confuse medicine with science and then mindlessly parrot trust the science without even a basic understanding of what true science is. Now, she's quoting something. Oh, this goes back to, I'll read it. In the early 50s, Nature failed the test of American medicine. It was found that breast milk contained 60% less protein than the infant needs. A formula was created with 2.5 to 3 times the protein plus added salt. Today we know that wasn't nature, but science that flunked. The devastating consequences soon appeared: kidney damage, hyperacidity with osteoporosis, dangerously high phenylalanine and tyrosine content in the blood, poor protein metabolism, and increased acceleration with consequent stressful disparity of physical and mental growth. An attempt has been made to transfer advertising concept growth and weight gain growth and weight gain rates to actual human beings, and it fell through. Remember that, was that in the 60s, that or 70s even, that you had all these advertisements that you need milk, that you got milk, you need your protein. And there was a harmful habituation to the wear and tear of high protein diet. The frugal use of protein was not learned. From birth on, the child was being burdened with both stress conditioning factors, high protein, and salt. Important development phases were shortened by accelerated growth, and this, according to Portman, works against the development of the supertype, that human type which is most needed in our time, who is not just able to analyze but also grasp the whole of a phenomenon in its form and essence. Okay, when we fed infants on a high protein formula, the devastating results were obvious. Yet 70 plus years later, we are still stuffing ourselves and our children with protein, destroying their bodies in our own and fueling epidemics of preventable and reversible diseases. Well, there's another quote from someone. I'm not going to read that because then it's getting too long. And if you go into a store today, you see, even now with what's even with keto things, but it's always added high protein, added protein, and it's too much. The need of our proteins is maybe 1/4 of what they are pushing, and we eat in average more than 10 times the amount of what the body even can handle. So proteins increase uric acid in the body, leading to gout and kidney stones. Additionally, fat blocks the body's ability to expel uric acid, and many high-protein foods are also high-fat foods. So when we consume the double hamburger with cheese, the cheese pizza, the macaroni and cheese, and any other SAD diet, standard American diet staple, we double down on the acids. We first burden the body with acids, then we make it even harder for the body to expel those acids. And yes, he says, give your body a break, stay away from the protein, and watch your health return. Your weight stabilize, edema and gout disappear, pain and inflammation cease, headaches and migraines disappear, and your body will start to look and feel years or even decades younger. Return to the natural human diet and thrive. Lose weight effortlessly and maintain your natural, lean, healthy, radiant body with ease. Now, this goes back over 100 years, that you often heard in stories of some famous people, royalty, whatever it was. You heard a lot about gout, that they suffered from gout, high uric acid. It's all diet related.
Mhm.
My
Yeah.
stepdad suffered from gout, and it was awful. Like, he couldn't even put like a sheet on his foot, and tart cherry juice is what helped him, but it was 100% his diet. I mean, you can't just eat eggs and bologna and cheese and steak and pork chops and everything your whole entire life and think you're going to be fine.
Yeah, but if
Or
you,
alcohol.
yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, and
But
alcohol, but he didn't drink, so
yep.
it,
No, but
it
I
shows
mean
up too.
alcohol. Yeah, alcohol is a big one because it's all sugar, you know.
Absolutely.
But if you look at the average diet here, and we can call SAD standard American diet, it's the same over the whole world. You know, if you see these cooking shows or these street cooks, it's all fats and cheeses and meats. It's like veggies barely exist.
Yes,
And then,
and
and
Right.
yeah.
I was going to say the one other thing I found out too is all those food channels and all the stuff you see on TikTok, Instagram, and it's like food. That's literally food porn. Everything that they do does
Yep.
the same exact thing that porn does in your brain. It releases that dopamine. It does all that stuff that watching porn does, and that's why they call it food porn. Also, and it it does stuff to you. It makes you think you want it. It's another yeah, all the way the food's placed, the way it's poured, everything has been thought through to manipulate us. And
Mhm.
again, it's just another lie. And you think, well, I'm just watching recipes, I'm just this. And then, people are like, I love watching the Food Network. I love watching that. Yeah, because you're getting stimulated from that, and the brain it's releasing stuff in you.
Oh my gosh, Sarah, I have
It's
to admit something to the
yeah.
world.
Uh-oh.
When I am fasting, and I'm now again day 5 of a fast. When I am fasting, it usually starts 2, 3 weeks in. I am watching cooking shows, and then and it's not feeling me good. I'm totally disgusted. Like I never eat that.
Yeah. That's exactly like what it is though. Like it's
Um,
still like you're getting, like I said before, like you're getting something from it. And that's why, we watch it and we do stuff like that.
and I was doing a little research yesterday, and I was like, okay, I want to see what the internet tells me about proteins. And you can, when you use AI, it just takes all the information that it can find, and then gives you the answer, and you get some really really great answers at a time. But I was like, okay, I had put in, we don't need protein. So lo and behold, I found a website that was saying exactly that. And the header was, you don't need protein, you need amino acids. For the last few years, a sort of battle has existed regarding protein. Is meat or vegan protein better? How much protein should I take? Is it too little or too much? Do people in general need more protein or less protein? Beyond that, some say that meat protein causes an inflammatory response in the body, so we should get protein from plants. Others say we need more animal protein, that it is superior protein source and provides key nutrients not available in plant proteins. Well, it's still recycled protein if you eat meat.
Hmm.
Some say too much protein is toxic, and others say too little protein impacts our hormones, muscle, bones, mood, and immune system. But we're asking the wrong question. And the reason we're asking the wrong question is because we're starting from the wrong point of view of data. Our
I'm
body does.
live from
I'm sorry?
Facebook.
Oh,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. Our body doesn't need protein as such. It needs the amino acids protein provides. Almost close. The only point of eating protein is to get to the amino acids the protein is made of, which our body then uses to build completely new proteins in the form the human body needs. But different proteins have different amounts of different amino acids, some we need and some we don't. And when we get too little of the amino acids we need and too much of the ones we don't, we have problems. Now, there's another section that was actually word sharing. How much proteins and amino acids work in the body? The entire structure of our body is made of proteins. Our muscles, our skin, collagen is a protein. Our bones, ligaments, and tendons, every cell in the body. Our hormones are made from proteins. Our immune cells and digestive enzymes, even our neurotransmitters and nerve cells, and enzymes, the chemicals that cause the reaction in our body that allows our body to function at all. They are all made of proteins, or more specifically, they are made of amino acids, because all a protein is a specific combination of amino acids. How do we get amino acids? By eating protein. Now, a protein is just a long chain of amino acids all bonded together. When we eat protein, the acids in our stomach and other chemicals in our small intestines break the bonds holding these amino acids together. And it goes on in different proteins have different amino acids leading to different results. And he even says, but there's something else, and this is the missing piece about the difference in the different proteins and different amino acids. They go on, and there is some good information. And you know what it eventually gets to? They sell amino acids in a pill. There is not one mentioning about fruit. Not one.
Well, the little part I wanted to say is that if you look at some of the other animals in the world, the gorilla or even the horse, for example, and I remember my horse was getting his teeth done. It's called having their teeth floated.
Right.
They usually get them at least like once a year, something like that. But I asked the dentist, the veterinarian, I said, why do horses not get cavities and stuff like that? And he said, because they don't eat protein, they don't eat meat. And I was like, oh, I was like, okay, well, then I look at him like, are you going to make that leap or should I help you here? And then he wasn't like, wasn't coming together for him. And I said, so that's why we get cavities and stuff. And then he was like, well, yeah, and that and sugar, and of course that. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, because that's all everybody does is sit around and eat candy all day. But yeah, so there's that. And then the gorilla, of course, they eat insects and things like that. And I'm sure horses do too, but those are some of the biggest animals that we have on this planet. And yet they're not loaded up on protein. And then I have to also,
Elephants.
oh yeah, and elephants. Yeah. I mean, what do they all eat? It's not like they're out hunting and things like that. And they also have long lifespans, whereas like a cat or things like that, they don't live as long and they're smaller. So like you'd think they would live longer. But then when I was looking this up while you were reading, that protein is deeply, it's been around, that myth has been around for over a century and is deeply tied to the industrial food system, not truth. But what we actually need are amino acids, and those come from the breakdown of fruit, greens, and even air itself when the body is in a clean, high frequency state. The problem isn't lack of protein, it is poor assimilation due to a clogged lymphatic system, weak adrenals, and over acidic train. Protein isn't building strength, it's often building inflammation. And then when we overconsume protein, especially cooked animal-based forms, we feed acidosis, mucus production, and waste that the kidney and lymph can't handle. But nature already gave us the perfect builder, fruit. It's electrical cleansing and full of living amino acid structures the body can actually use. So again, I mean, I believe we should have a very heavy fruit-based diet and then supplement it with our soft leafy greens and some of our more natural veggies, ones that haven't been modified over decades of time to be what they are now. And I'm speaking of the carrot because I know that was always my favorite vegetable, but the more I know about that, the more I don't eat it. Actually, I don't eat it at all. But and then, maybe just supplement a little bit of nuts and seeds or an avocado here and there. And of course, watch your sodium.
Yeah, but you remember the avocados are also
Fat.
yeah, but not only that,
Oh, they're heavily. Yeah.
once you start with it, you want to keep eating them.
Yeah.
They are addictive, and they were not even around 150 years ago.
No, they were not.
And they have changed, and that was, I had been eating avocados again, and 2 years ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, I was completely healed from that addiction. And you start eating it again, and like, oh, not so bad. Yeah,
Well, the body
but
makes some protein. Did you know that?
yeah, but it needs the amino acids to be able to do that, right?
True. But if you supplement protein and your body's trying to produce protein, the body will stop producing it. Just like testosterone
Yeah,
or your
yeah,
hormones or things like that. You
yeah.
take all these things that they're giving us in a synthetic version, and it shuts down the body's ability to do that. It's like the guy that looked at breast milk and said, "Oh, no, not enough protein in that milk." What? It's
Yeah, based
mother's
upon what?
milk.
Yeah.
And then that's right, based on we need to sell more protein.
Yeah.
So we're going to take this baby's milk and we're going to say it doesn't have enough in it, and people are going to believe it because they're the do all be all of everything there is to know about the human body. I think it was Fauci that said that. We already know everything there is to know about the human body. Science is no longer involved. We don't have to test these things. We just give them to people, and because we know they're right. Well, that's a bunch of hockey puck right there. That that they will. The whole job is to keep exploring and find different things, and they're so far out of whack now that and they're shutting the body's ability to produce the things it needs to on its own, which forces you to take synthetic versions rather than empowering your body with fruits, berries, melons, even veggies, and when we eat, let's say that like broccoli is totally modified. There is no such thing as broccoli. They just created it from two plants. Uh, and I'm not saying it's bad for you. I'm just saying that almost every vegetable we have, there's like 23,000 different vegetables and way many more fruits than we are exposed to, but they keep limiting it down further and further and further. And even the fruit has been made sweeter. It's I would assume it's juicier. And when we eat that, we don't think about that. We think about, okay, so you've had a life, but when you come in my body, we're going to party because I'm going to take everything that's good that you have to give me and I'm going to eliminate the rest because that's what my body can do naturally. So I'm going to help it by saying those kinds of things that my body will heal and grow and my mind will get clearer, my lungs and my core strength will get stronger as I eat these foods, and it will do it because it has to do what you tell it. Your body has to do what you tell it. And it will separate those things. The body is a detox machine. And speaking of detox, it's DETOX. Well, let's change it to DETALKS. Tox. Detox. Change your story. And your body will shift with it. So those are important things to just remember and understand. And yeah, we do talk about the same things a lot, but people need to hear it over and over to immerse themselves in it, their mind and their physical body in that. And when they do that, they will start to do the things that will take them to Wellville from the Hellville they're in now.
Okay, I think it's my turn.
Yep. Yep.
Well, I want to, because we're going to keep it short today, because I have an appointment at 1, and I know Sarah has to leave soon
Yep.
too. I'm going to play this part of Dr. Morse. I don't need to do a screen share because I assume you can just listen to it. Would that work, Gary? What do you think?
Just listen to it. Yeah.
Yeah, if I don't do a screen share, that you can still hear it. So you let me know if you can hear it. I'm going to start it now.
Okay.
What you're saying, what's your protein source? My protein source, I hope it's none. Although I cheat a little here and there, of course. I get a little nut here, a little bean there, but I hope none. Because remember, proteins are unavailable to the human body until they're broken down into what? Amino acids. So you've got the stomach kind. We were just talking about that this morning again, how another good reason why the human being is not a protein eater is the low hydrochloric acid really in a Homo sapien versus that of an omnivore. And the fact that when you get down around 2 pH or a little below in the stomach, a few inches down, you have to get that all the way up to 7.5 to 8. Or you don't have any digestion going on well at all. You're not activating digestive enzymes. So for a human, and there's what, I don't know what the duodenal pH is supposed to be of an omnivore, I have no clue. But I can tell you in a herbivore and a frugivore, it's going to be about the same. Because to activate proper enzymatic action, amylase, tylan, you had to be up in the 7.5 to 8s. And then, believe it or not, it's also with trypsin and chymotrypsin, and they're involved in breaking down the polys and to the peptides to the amino acids. So it's just only hydrochloric acid is involved in ripping the protein apart. Well, when you understand that, then why would you eat a protein if your body can't use it? Why would you think that it's some big important thing to have in your body when it's an acid hit? The body can't use a protein. The body requires some amino acids. But why would you think that? And that's part of the problem, especially when you want health and vitality. The complex amino acid source is highly acidic. And that's a lot more nitrogen, phosphorus, all the things that counterbalance sodium, potassium, and particularly the twin sisters of calcium and magnesium. You know, you start bringing up phosphorus, guess who's going to be going bye-bye? The twin sisters, Cal Mag. And so either way you look at that, if you go too high with the electrolytes, we were talking about that in terms of getting these alkaline waters way up there, you can hurt yourself with, again, leaching phosphorus out of matrix as opposed to calcium. You know, you've got the twins, you got this rhythm of the twins, acid and base, and these two have to be ionized properly and reach saturation properly. And that's more than the average person can understand, nor more than actually chemists can understand, in my opinion. I have had a lot of chemists come to me in trouble. And what I see is a big lack of understanding of the chemical world and the interactions of diets and things like that. So I don't know, it's just what I see. How do I get protein if I'm working out at a gym? Best Stefan from Sweden. You know you want to pump amino acids if you're working at the gym. We have a new muscle building formula called Muscles by Nature. And I'm building this for Anton and Mr. Olympians, what we call Mr. Olympia, and a couple of the other guys there. I'm building them for all bodybuilders or people that want to work out, that want to maintain a base balanced chemistry, but with a higher level of amino acids. And that's what we're looking for. You don't want an acidic product when you're building muscles, because when you acidify your body, you just lost all your factors of health. So you're putting on, you're forcing bulk muscles, and let me tell you, in that process, you're breaking down your kidneys, you're breaking down your bowels, you're breaking down all the body in acidosis just to look ripped. And that's okay, but it's you that suffer. It's the individual that suffers just to try to look good and stuff.
Okay, I'll leave it at that because I think we heard the most important information. The formula that he is talking about, Muscles by Nature, it's fruit and veggies. And yeah, it's a great formula. If you feel that you need it to add some, then go for it. Anyway, I have to, unless you guys have to add something, I would like to to go because I have another appointment. And let me know, guys. Anything to add?
No, I think we
Oh,
covered
just-
everything in here, and thank you all very much.
I've got
Thank you.
alfalfa juice powdered. I've got
Oh, hold on. I need to close that.
I've added the royal jelly.
Okay. Now it's closed. I thought I muted him, but I muted myself. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was saying I'm going to leave it at this, and unless you guys want to add something to it.
I think we've covered a lot today.
We did. We always do. We always do the same topics, different ways. But yeah, we always get to the good things and the important things. I hope that the people who are actually watching this share it. If you feel comfortable with it, share it, talk about it. And because there are so many people suffering, and the solution is not that difficult. You know, you don't need a health full of pharmaceuticals to feel better. And we actually, I think we can promise this. What do you think, guys? Can we promise that once you follow what we're teaching with diet, with breathing, with exercise, with mindset, that you are going to feel better? Can we make that promise?
Yes, 100%.
There you go.
Yes.
I have experience in feeling better. So I would say from my experience, yes.
Gary, one last word for today.
Well, I can barely hear you guys, so hopefully you can hear me.
We can hear you, yes.
Okay. So love life, love nature, love yourself.
That's those are good ones. Thank you, Gary. And I would say, guys, we love you, and till the next time.
Thank
Don't
you
know
all.
what we are
Hey.
going to talk about, but something comes up.
Bye.
Take care,
All right.
everyone.
Bye,
Love you
everyone.
guys.